Hey fam, welcome to I Love Me Me Me. Today it is a different type of video. Today I have two brave young black men that are here to discuss interracial dating. Please keep in mind that these are their own thoughts, opinions, and experiences. They do not speak for the entire black race of men. Also keep in mind to keep an open mind about what they have to say. Take it in, and I think that you will just learn something today. So stay tuned. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you enjoy. Okay, fam, let's just jump right into it. So, we'll start with you.
Oh, okay.
What inspired you to ultimately choose to date outside of your race?
Well, honestly, to me, it wasn't a choice. I was more following the Cupid's arrow. I wasn't really looking for with my particular situation. I wasn't even looking for nobody that day, and she strolled by, we caught eyes, and she came back around, and we popped at each other. We got each other's number, and then kind of went on from there. But I never really. Yeah, it could have been anybody. It could have been anybody. It could have been a Martian. You know what I mean? They looked at me and we caught eye contact, and I still didn't know she was gonna come. She came back around, and we are where we at. But really nothing. I mean, nothing. I'm very non-discriminate when it comes to the race of whoever my potential lover or companion would be.
Okay. Same question for you?
Yeah, I would say I don't really have there's no moment of inspiration, right? It wasn't like, that's it. It was more just circumstance, I was in grad school and, I was around a bunch of different folks, right? And so, started talking to this girl and we just vibed, and so.
So it was more of a click thing?
It was more of a click thing. And I think, like my man said, right, it's not like, I'm not one to limit love. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I want to place I have a prefix, right, about what love is and what it should be and what it could be. And so when it happens, it happens.
Okay, that's fair enough. All right, question 2. Do you feel that you chose other ethnic groups of women due to the negative traits associated to black women?
I don't believe so. To answer that, throughout my life, I've had, girlfriends that were sisters. I had, girlfriends that were, different ethnics. So, no. Honestly, I believe that you just pretty much go off your conscience, and you just really kind of go off the wing of who draws interest to you, and you kind of just write it off of that. You don't, for anybody to get any kind of extra attention, if you want to say, it's a blessing. So you kind of just take it as a blessing, and that's what it is.
What's the extra attention that you're referring to?
Well, if something, like for instance, you're walking in the mall or you're walking in school, and then somebody give you that extra eye, or they say hello, and you could be having a down day, and that might just brighten your day up, and that might be the initiation of a relationship. Just because you didn't know that somebody even took liking to you. Being a black African male, it's one of those things to where we're often time outside looking in to what's going on when everybody else is, partaking. So if anybody draws attention to you, it's kind of a, okay, hey, it's a good thing. You just kind of, you want that. You don't want the opposite, which is rejection and, kind of the distant kind of a situation.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I wasn't looking for a different sort of person, I wasn't necessarily taken aback by these stereotypes and wasn't necessarily drawn to them either, right? So it's such an individual basis, it happens on such an individual basis. It's hard to be like, oh, I'm just going to stay away from this group of people for whatever reason, right? Because even if you do say something like that, you can meet somebody who has all those qualities that you don't like.
It'll change your perspective just like that.
Exactly.
Okay, so when you dated outside your race with any ethnic group of women, how were you received by the family and friends and her parents?
By her family and friends?
Yeah.
Well, we had similar friends. Like we had the same set of friends, but in terms of her family, I want to say, I was welcome into. They were like, oh, I think they made an effort to be like, oh, I'm not racist, right? Like this is,
Okay.
I'm good
Okay,
with this.
okay.
You're good. I'm not gonna do anything. My one particular ex-girlfriend was Canadian.
Okay.
Right, and so I went up to Canada for their Thanksgiving, which is in October, and I was talking to her and like her neighbor and some other people, and they made an effort to like explicitly be like, oh yeah, it's so hard being black sometimes, right? And so like it was weird.
Were they black though?
They were not black, right? And so it was kind of weird in the effort to be accepting. People were like overly accepting.
Okay.
So yeah.
Irrational, trying to pretty much stepping into your, so wow, it must be like a travesty to be black.
We were talking about crossing the border, and they were like, "Oh, you're gonna have some problems crossing the border, right?" Being the black man driving. And I was like, and then I think there's a weird thing between like Canada and America, right? Because like Canada's like, y'all are crazy over there. Y'all are like literally killing people, like killing black men. So I think they were really eager to engage that conversation.
Okay.
But in a way that, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I did feel a little forced.
Oh, okay.
To say the least.
Okay.
Yeah, forced.
All right.
Oh, buddy, well, my situation with my soon-to-be ex-wife, her family accepted me, but before they knew me, there was a little bit of kind of an extra scrutiny of who I was and what my aspirations, what kind of drive I had. And even at one time, her dad even said, like, he was like, F you, like, I told him not to blow some smoke in my daughter's face. Girl, F you. And I kind of went off on him, slammed the door on him. And then he accepted me. Once I kind of stood my grounds up to him, I let him know, hey, I'm not going to, pretty much fold under you. Then they accepted me, and then, they offered me food. And, they still, I'm sure they still talk because they speak Tagalog, so you never know what they're really saying about you. So, but on the front end, they will bring you in, they will sit you down, they will offer you food, but you never really know what they're saying about you. And so I would say that as far as acceptance, they accept you, but it's not without any scrutiny of who you are and what your aspiration, their drive is. They still see that you're either dating their daughter and they want to know who you are. And then as soon as they figure out who you are, like when I show them, I'm a hard-working person, then they ease back off of you, and then they take another stance on how they just, I guess on whatever their perspective of who you should be or what their daughter deserves.
But it took a little while for them to accept you.
Well, I mean, I won't even lie. Me and my situation, we got caught up a few times where it wasn't in the best circumstances. So, it kind of started off on a rocky road, and I had to, we were, like I said, I don't want to get into details of my situation, but I mean, there's a time when they came in, popped in on us, and I had to hide. And then I came out, and then I was about to leave. I turned around to him, to her dad, and I was about to leave, and then he goes, "Okay, well, okay, my daughter really loves you," and yada yada yada. And so they accepted me at that point, seeing that she had a big love for me. So I mean, it was difficult. I won't lie. I mean, so her family in general, though, once we got married, I mean, they were very receptive to me. They were very nice. They were very kind. So overall, they were pretty receptive to me and accepted me into the pack, if you want to say.
Okay.
Just to add to that real quick, when you're talking about like ambitions and figuring out who you are, I think it's really interesting because I was in a PhD program at the time I was dating my ex-girlfriend, and I do think when I'm like, oh yeah, I'm getting a PhD, they're like, oh, okay, we can calm down.
Ease that.
Right? So it's like, oh, okay, he's on the right path,
right,
so to speak, right? He ain't like them other ones, perhaps.
Right, exactly.
Right? It's something that
I'm on that other fence where I don't have a PhD, however, I mean, I got massage certification, I'm entrepreneurial, I work hard, I got aspirations to get a PhD, but yeah, you will worry too. I mean, any father and mother will say, okay, who is this guy? Who's this young man here?
Because I mean, that's the same for
you would do the same for your husband.
Definitely,
yeah,
absolutely,
yeah.
right? So,
Right.
Okay. Well, what were some differences that you noticed from you being introduced to her family versus when you brought her around your family and friends?
You answer that one first.
Differences.
Like good, bad, happy, sad as food. Let's go with acceptance.
I think my family is definitely a little more hesitant to accept. I think just because, so the first time I brought it was for my Thanksgiving, for our Thanksgiving in the States, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just like the things that we eat are completely different, right? So it's like, oh, you want to make some mashed potatoes, or we gonna make some stuffing, right? Like you want string beans, we got collard greens, right? And so
I see.
Like,
Okay.
there was like a strange sort of like, what in the world is going on?
Was it done on purpose?
No, it wasn't done.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't done on purpose. It just like kind of bubbled up in the mix, right? Like because we were all in the kitchen, right? Like trying to cook.
Oh,
and
this was
trying
the
to
first
prep.
time you knew that it was the differences, or that it came.
No,
to
I knew that
surface?
there were differences, but I think that my family was able to articulate those differences to her through Thanksgiving.
Oh, I
Whereas
see.
before, they would be like the first question they asked when I told them that her name, which is Brienne, they were like, is she white? Right? So like already, there's already that like, oh, and I think they were able to like talk to her, like articulate those differences through food. Through like Thanksgiving.
I could relate to that.
And so it was a bit resistant.
Same thing. I could elaborate off what he was saying. I mean, to answer the question first and foremost, that I mean, my auntie, she was like, don't mess with her. One of my aunties, she was like, do not mess with her, because like our start was very rocky. She was like, leave her alone. And even there came a point to where even with my mom, I had to tell my mom, I said, yeah, I'm gonna marry this girl. I'm gonna give her, we've been through this and this and that, but I'm gonna marry her. Then when it came to the holidays, it was definitely. I mean, they're Filipino, we're African American, so yeah, I'm cooking Compton style dressing, and they're like, "What is that?" Try it, they like it. They're like, "Oh, okay, you can cook." They got lumpia and sinigang and all the different kind of food, which I was kind of like, I don't want. What is that? It smells, but eventually I came around to trying it. Some of it I liked it. Some of it I kind of
Really, it smells.
Yeah, some of it. No, some of it is like, okay, what is that? It smells pretty too fishy. And then some of the stuff is like, okay, I'll eat this. It's kind of sweet. And so you mesh. I mean, you it's like a multicultural fair. If anything, you try some of their food, they try some of your food. But as far as the family accepting them, my aunties and my cousins, they all like, oh wow, she's very pretty. She has her eyelashes, little fake eyelashes. Oh, she's very pretty and smart, or what have you. And then you could also kind of sense it's kind of like, okay, is he biting off more than he could chew? Kind of. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But they overall, they'll accept her and they accept us as a couple, and they think that we're a beautiful thing going. I mean, my auntie May was like, don't let nobody throw a monkey wrench into what you guys got, because you're a very beautiful couple, got a very beautiful daughter. So, I think the family, for the most part, it's only right for them to accept a new love, especially if you got married or what have you, or you're at least trying to commit,
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I would say overall, yes, they pretty much were pretty receptive about accepting the interracial ethnics of my, soon-to-be ex-partner.
Mm-hmm. Anything else to add?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Do you think that you were seen as less intimidating to like people on the outside looking in, specifically because you're black men?
I'll answer my part on that one first. I think as a black man, you're always to society. We're always. It depends on who's looking in, but we have been stigmatized as just always kind of being somewhat intimidating and somewhat of a hard character to figure out. Even if you're docile, they still look at you as a threat. Like even today, I mean, if you're walking on the same side as a female or any kind of person, I mean, they'll hold their purse even though you're not even thinking about nothing like their purse, but they'll still go into their switch up stands like, okay, let me put this over here. Even though you got plenty of money and you got a Mercedes outside. I mean, so I don't, when they see you with another, in my case, I mean, like my wife is Filipino. She's very attractive, very pretty. If anything, they're jealous. If anything, they're jealous of you. They're like, wow, it's like Beauty and the Beast. It's almost like, okay, how did she get him? And I often hear people say, oh, there's beauty. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But then I could attest that, pretty looks are not always what they are cracked up to be. You could You can have a 10, but you could be downright miserable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
As far as looks go.
as far as physical, as far as physical. But people do receive you. I mean, they'll like compliment, oh, you guys are a beautiful couple. I'm sure we had a lot of people, oh, you're a beautiful couple, outside looking in, on the front end, oh, you're a beautiful couple. And so, you know, you are greeted with a little bit more hospitality. But I don't think that's really, I guess, ration. I think it could be anybody. You could be black with a back and still have that same aura, and people say, oh, you're a beautiful couple. You know, it's not, I don't think people really rationalize that.
I do think when you're an interracial couple, you do stand out though.
Right.
Right. Like people are, you always get the second look, right? And if you catch somebody looking again, right, they either are very like responsive and be like, y'all are a beautiful couple,
Right.
Or
they're trying to pick you up.
Right. Exactly. You
They're
get
trying to
screw
pick you
face
up.
from. So
Yeah,
yeah,
trying to pick you up.
definitely.
And to elaborate on that, some people are looking at it as, well, okay, well, if they're interracially dating, maybe I could try that.
Do you think that you were treated differently by society and specifically black women?
Gotcha.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. Please elaborate.
Yeah, I think you catch a lot of shade when you know, as a black man, I'm walking with a white woman in the grocery store. I did get a lot of little side eyes and stuff like that. And a really good friend of mine, it was Christmas, and it was like outside in this big open air market or whatnot, and I was walking with my girlfriend and my ex-girlfriend, and you know, ran into my friend, and she was like, and my girlfriend went and got something to drink or something like that, and she was like, sisters must be so upset with you, right? Like she just flat out.
She just hit you in the face with
right,
it.
exactly. Especially, you know, at the time I was like, again in the PhD program, right? Like I had my head on my shoulders and this and that and the other, and it's like, and look at you, right? Walk around with this white girl.
When
right?
you was down, you was with us.
Right,
Good.
exactly. and for me, it's, I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about it later. I don't gotta go into it now, but like,
No, please
that's
continue.
really interesting,
Please
you
continue.
know, like this whole sort of like idea of social mobility and the sort of like status quo of the status symbol of having a white woman on your arm means you're successful in this and that and the other. We gonna get it back.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
gonna get it
we
back,
are.
but yeah, it's interesting. But, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think definitely yes too. I mean, when I'm come with my wife, I mean, she's, like I said, she's pretty. You know, people will look at like, oh, I got a trophy wife. You know, like, you know, just a trophy wife. And yeah, I mean, to other females, I could sense a sense of intimidation. Like they're very intimidated, not even just to talk to me, but just like, wow, he's, you know, boom, they're set, you know. So, and then other chances when you're out, people look at that as an opportunity. They look at it like, okay, well, he's dating outside of his race, so maybe I could get in front of him, he'll see me too, you know. But overall,
So other ethnic groups, not black
black
women.
chicks,
Okay.
black chicks, they don't really, it's not discriminatory. It's just they look at that like, oh, okay, well, you know,
He's open.
he's open to trying new things, and so they get in front of you, they get in front of her, and they kind of they want to test the water and see how committed you are to that.
Like what? What did they do to test the water?
Well, you know, like I said, they'll come through, like a girl will come up to her and want to dance with her. Like I remember we in Las Vegas, and we get all dressed up, we go to this club, and it's shoulder to shoulder or what have you, and so some chick, she comes behind me and she kind of just smells my neck, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm dead serious.
What?
She just get a smell she smells me and just like, you know, and she comes behind me, and then so I was like, I looked at my wife, I was like, you know, my soon-to-be ex-wife, I looked at her like, you know, what is this chick doing? And then so she got in the middle of us, and then she got all up on my wife too, and she was trying to fill my wife up, and my wife, she wasn't having that. She kind of, you know, pushed her to the side, and you know, we shoved her back. But I mean, that's what I mean when I say test the water. They want to get in between that. They want to get in between that chocolate and that vanilla. Or whatever.
It sounded like she might have been trying to take both of y'all home.
She
though.
was trying to take
Okay,
over. And that's what I
okay.
mean when I say by trying to test it. Vice versa, though, men too. I mean, men will see me. I mean, I'm not the tallest dude and I'm not the ugliest dude. At the same time, I'm with this beautiful exotic wife, right? And so I'm in the club or in Vegas, and so another guy come up to me, hey, I'm not a homebreaker, but da 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 da. I'm like, oh, you know, I'm not punch the dude in the face, but, you know what I mean? At the same time, okay, it's a compliment, thank you. My wife is pretty, thank you. Okay, now, you know, beat it. But you often have to have, like, you're almost beating people off, like, you know what I mean?
I think part of the mentality is like, oh, whoever you with, oh, she's not scared of the dark, right?
Right.
And so it's like, oh, she'll, you know, mess with him, then she'll probably mess with me too,
and
right?
then another one, I was in some showdown I had, and this guy said, "Don't slip." Like, I'm like, "What do you mean, though?" Like, "Don't slip."
Oh,
Like,
you know
like,
what he
yeah,
meant.
I know what he meant. Yeah. Oh yeah, I know what you mean. I was like, and I told him, I was like, "Man, I can't slip." Like, you know, whatever. You know, I kind of shrugged him off, but in the back of my, I knew he was talking. He's like, "Don't slip." And now that I'm where I'm at, I know exactly what he meant. It's like these females, are the female that I was in particular, once they know that they're wanted.
Were you drawn to other ethnic groups because you tried to escape your blackness, whether subconsciously? Was it subconscious thing?
Never that.
No?
Never that. Yeah, never that. I mean, I've always been attracted just to love and affection, period. I mean, it doesn't matter where it's coming from. As far as I'm heterosexual, I want female. So it's like, I mean, from grade school on out, I mean, if like a female was attracted to me, you would accept that. You wouldn't reject that. You know what I mean? Unless they're like obsessive, kind of compulsive, you know. But as far as that, no. I mean, if anything, being an African American male, we embrace our culture. We want to know more of our culture. If anything, we want more of our own culture rather than the Americanized ways of going. So when a female, if anything, they take liking to us. If anything, we're like, yeah, you know, this is, you know, come get some of this brother, because that's what we are, you know, from that. So no, you never trying to shake your blackness for nothing. I mean, that's just that would be wrong. I mean, unless you were just literally trying to be brainwashed and super kind of hyper Americanized and not conscientious about your true melanin, your true ethnics, your true identity. You know, that's when you kind of lost it, if you want to say.
Yeah, I agree, right? Like, I feel like it's an embrace of blackness, right? The belief that blackness can be more than what people think it is and what people say it is, right? So again, going back to this sort of like idea that love is like contained in this box,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
blackness is also contained in a box, right? And so you have to like present a certain sort of blackness in order to, you know, be accepted as black or whatnot.
What does that mean?
I think when you date outside your race, right, like there's always this question, right? This like idea that you're trying to escape blackness, or you have escaped blackness, or you want to get rid of your blackness and things like that, right? And I mean, I think blackness is a lot bigger than that, right? Like, I would, in my relationship with this white woman, refer to our relationship as a black relationship, right? Because it's like, I'm a part of this relationship. I'm a black man, right? Like, I'm expressing black love, right, toward this white woman, yes. But so it's like,
Why did you have to put a title on that?
what, a black relationship?
Yeah.
Because I felt like that people would push back against that. People would be like, yeah, this is not, right? Like, you're not in a black relationship, right? Like, you don't have a relationship with blackness the way that I have a relationship with blackness, because your woman is not black.
So the title was for other black people. It wasn't for you and your girl at the time.
No, it was definitely for other people.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I think, like, I thought about, like, it came up the first time in a conversation with a bunch of people about relationships and stuff like that. So, and I know, and even now I get pushback for saying that, you know, that you were in a black relationship.
Oh, I just never heard that. I never heard that.
I mean, I ain't never heard of it either, right? But like, I felt like, I don't know, I felt like, you know, my blackness is no different, right? Like you said,
because your woman is other
Right,
than black.
They will still see it as a black relationship, though. Because I remember this one guy, he was like, love, peace, and chicken grease or something. I'm like, what? Well, I'm like, what do you mean by that?
To
But,
you?
I mean, yeah, he said that to me. I'm like, well, okay, you know, all right. I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? But basically, that, yeah, outside looking in, no matter who it is, white girl, black girl, Asian girl, whatever, if you're black, they're gonna say, okay, you know that they're in a black relationship or interracial, which is basically saying, you know, a person of color.